LegacyMaker, the all sports network, presents a SIRTOBA media production where the struggle is real to be awesome.
5, 4, 3, 2.
The wait is over.
Hello everyone, we are syndicated with another installment of the In or Out Sports Debate, Volume 2, best of episodes 6 through 10, with myself, Drew Willingham, along with special guest, Robb Johnson. Enjoy.
All right, now we look at round 3. The Commanders could have done better than Carson Wentz at quarterback with all of these moves that were available during the offseason. Robb, are you in or out on the Commanders could have done better than Wentz?
I'm out on that. I mean, I've said over and over that I didn't like the move. However, Carson Wentz is not a horrible quarterback. He'll get you some wins. But here's the problem, Drew. When nobody wants to come to your team, I mean, what other options do you have? And I would say Jimmy Garoppolo, but Jimmy Garoppolo is not as talented as a Carson Wentz and has injuries like Carson, but he doesn't have the physical tools. The Washington football team have an opportunity to get a really decent wide receiver in this draft, a Drake London, Chris Olave, etc. Carson Wentz with weapons can do some damage on this team. I know I joked and played a lot about them signing him, but if he's given the right offensive line and the right weapons with a Terry McLaurin, etc., along with Logan coming back at tight end, and if they can learn to not fumble the football at running back, and this defense gets healthy, I mean, this could be a team that could shock us all. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but I think Carson's going to have something to prove. And when nobody else wants to come to your team, Drew, then, you know, what can you really do?
Get the f*** out of here!
You know, I'd have to disagree. I'd have to say that they could have done better than Carson Wentz. And the reason why I say this, had they made this trade a few years ago after they won the Super Bowl, back when Nick Foles won, and had they made the trade for Wentz then before he got banged up, I'd say go ahead and go with that. But since then, he's been injury prone. He broke or sprained 2 ankles, both of his ankles on one play last year. In one play last year with the Colts, he sprained not 1, but 2. And you only have 2 ankles last time I checked. He sprained both of them on one play. I don't like this trade now in 2022. This is kind of like where the Commanders now are basically falling into old school lineage where they get broken down quarterbacks that would have been great for them 3 and 4 and 5 seasons potentially before then. But I don't agree with this trade right now. I feel like that they could have gotten someone else, like potentially like Baker Mayfield, who's still out there. For years, Colin Kaepernick's been available, and now the rumor mill has been saying today that he signed with the Seahawks. That Pete Carroll finally gave him the break and finally got him with the Seahawks. So I have to disagree with this. I would say that they could have done better than Carson Wentz at quarterback.
Well, Drew, let me just say this real quick, my friend. I'm not a Carson Wentz guy, but I definitely think that Baker Mayfield would have been a lot more problematic. I will say this, and then we get on to the next topic. I believe that in free agency, they weren't going to find anybody, but there is a guy in the draft by the name of Carson Strong from Nevada. I believe that if they can get a guy like that he could definitely be their future. He's not Carson Wentz, he's Carson Strong, and he's a really good quarterback out of Nevada. So none of the free agent quarterbacks wanted to come to DC, and I think that the Commanders got lucky by not risking themselves on a Jimmy Garoppolo or a Baker Mayfield. So I'll just go with that.
Okay.
Final round.
In the final round, the team will be sold before the 2022 season concludes. Robb, are you in or out on this one?
I'm out.
Robb is out.
Get the f*** out of here!
Well, Drew,
Daniel Snyder, from what I hear and from all the conflicting reports, he's got dirt. He knows things. There are people who know things. And when you know things about, especially a corporation like the NFL, who has been questioned a little bit because of some of the things that have been going on over the years, you kind of let things sweep under the rug. Also, when Daniel Snyder was going through his whole situation where there was controversy and all that, what happened, Drew? He and his wife got 100% control of the team. They had other minority owners, et cetera, et cetera. Now they completely own the team outright. And here's the other thing, Drew. Does Daniel Snyder really lose if the team gets sold? No, because of a couple of reasons. Why? Because there's a possibility they're moving to Virginia. And, there's legalized gambling in Virginia now. There's legalized gambling in Maryland, D.C., whatever, however. But Virginia was the first state to do it. Virginia is going to be a hub for a bunch of new things in the future. Daniel Snyder is looking at about a good $5 to $6 to $7 billion, possibly for the sale of the Washington Commanders. So let's say he does sell the team. Does he really lose, Drew? Does he really lose? Even though all these crazy accusations, does he really lose? Because he's going to get he's going to get some billions out of this with a B, just like Donald Sterling got when he did all that racist crap. Allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly because I don't know. Allegedly, he got billions. Mr. Richardson from the Carolina Panthers, all that crap that came up with him, they got billions. So, Drew, really, Daniel Snyder doesn't lose. Doesn't lose.
You make a pretty compelling argument. But as far as the team will be sold before the 2022 season concludes, I'm going to go out.
Get the f*** out of here!
People may not like it, but explain to it. Yep.
The reason why I'm going out is for very similar reasons to my colleague Rob just stated. I mean, come on. Look at the majority ownership that he has. Look at everything that he's invested into covering his tracks over the years, and finally now he's just getting caught, as we see with the whole double books and double finances and sweeping things under the rug and the emails and all these other different things that were going on for decades. And we don't even want to know about what was going on probably before that, because if you look at the HBO documentary series of Winning Time for the Los Angeles Lakers, you're seeing how some things were going on pretty jacked up behind the scenes for the LA Lakers. And that's pretty much what was going on today in the past 20 years, except for the difference was Washington wasn't winning. The Lakers were winning in the 80s. That's why they got away with it. Now the Washington team hasn't won since the early 90s and hasn't really been to the playoffs but a handful of times since that Super Bowl, and hasn't really done much since. So when you're not being productive and you're not paying your bills and you're skimming the books, they're going to be finding ways to try to get you out of here. Now, Daniel Snyder's been smart enough with loopholes and everything to stick around as long as he has. And if he's been able to survive this at the end of the day, like Vince McMahon says, you can take the beating, but if you survive the beating at the end of it, you've won. So at the end of the day, he's still the Washington owner. So in my opinion, he's going to be able to survive at least another year, at least be able to get through the 2022 season. After that, I can't tell you, but I feel like he'll be able to get through this season at least.
Well, Drew, here's another thing that a lot of people don't want to admit. Drew, let me ask you something. You know how back in the old days, a lot of families were tight? Mm-hmm. You know how families were tighter back in the day? But do you realize, you know how, like, when people, the older guard started dying off, what happened to those families?
They stopped communicating as much.
Exactly. So let me ask you something. Who is the guy in the NFL who, if he's tight with you, if he likes you, you're pretty much untouchable? Who's that guy's name, Drew? I'll give you.
It's Roger Goodell.
No. There's an owner in the NFL that has his hand in the pot with everything. I'll give you his initials, JJ.
Oh, Jerry Jones. Yeah, I should have done that.
Let me say this. Daniel Snyder's tight with Jerry Jones. And I'm going to tell you this, Drew. And a lot of people may not like this. They may think it's a little bit insensitive. But here's the thing. There are a lot of owners in the NFL that know the day that Jerry Jones finally kicks the bucket, And his final, which I hope is not for a long time because he's great for the NFL as far as the things he's brought. But there are a lot of guys who are protected by Jerry Jones, man. A lot of guys. Just look at the Patriots owner. Look at the Patriots owner and look at the things that he got caught with. I mean, there was a possible link between him and some Jerry Sandusky stuff because it happened in Florida. But we never heard about it anymore. We never heard about Mr. Kraft anymore, right? After the Kraft situation, we never heard about it ever again. We didn't talk about it anymore. Drew, these people out here must understand this. Folks, I understand that most of you out there, you want law and order and you want what's right. But when you're dealing with billionaires, when you're dealing with people who finance multi-billion-dollar companies, when you're talking about people who put $40+ million in Roger Goodell's pocket every year, you think he's not going to protect? Look at Jim Irsay. Remember Jim Irsay, Drew, when he was caught with all those drugs? Imagine if that was a player. Imagine if that had been a player. He wouldn't have had a career. There have been, I don't know if any owner has ever struck his wife. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if any has done it, but I'm pretty sure.
Donald Sterling, NBA owner back in the day.
Well, yeah, it's been some craziness. And that's why I keep telling the fans keep favoring the owners, but they're not understanding that they're more closer to the players than they think they are. Because a millionaire, you can be a millionaire, but you're not gonna be a millionaire forever. 100,000 there, you're not gonna be 100,000 there forever. Daniel Snyder has generational money. So you think you're hurting Daniel Snyder if you tell him to get out? No, he's gonna be a billionaire regardless. You think he's gonna be hurt if you talk about some financial things where he may have done something illegal? He has lawyers, ladies and gentlemen. He's got lawyers. And here's the thing. If he brings money to the league, think about it. He got rid of the Redskins name and brought in the Commanders. And isn't it funny how all of a sudden when they changed the name, he got control of the team. Things started going right. He's still going to make money off the Redskins name. He's going to make money off the Commanders name if they start winning. So I'm out on it, man. I just think that people are on this moral high ground, and it's just not reality, man. Because at the end of the day, folks, you can complain. You can say, oh, people don't deserve this much money. I hear people talking about football as a child's game. It's a child's game. Well, not really, because I've heard of people getting their legs broken. I've heard of wars on the street happen because not only over here in America, but across the seas because of the what, Drew? The almighty dollar. So for all of you out there talking about the money doesn't matter and it's about moral high ground, you need to grow up. And I'm done.
Facts.
Baker Mayfield gets traded before training camp. Rob, are you in or out on this?
I'm in.
And tell us why.
With the first overall pick, the team from the XFL trades for Baker Mayfield. The New Jersey Renegades. Well, the XFL trades for Baker. Hey, I'll tell you what, if he's not careful, the USFL might trade for a cup of Diet Pepsi. Hey, listen, Drew, they're not getting. Listen, the USFL is not getting any tickets, so he might get a 2 for 1. Oh, because right now, Baker Mayfield ain't baking nothing. He ain't baking no pies. He ain't baking no mashed potatoes. He ain't baking no macaroni and cheese. Is Bacon at home? Is he home? Deshaun Watson, he's your daddy now.
Wow. And with that said, I'm out.
Get the f out of here!
With all that said, all those different types of trades for a candy bar with some Dippin' Dots and whatever you may call it, a whatchamacallit maybe thrown in there too, a bag of runts. But no, they're fucked. Sorry to say it again. Dropping the F-bomb one more time. The second time in this cast is the last time, I promise. They are screwed. They are done. They are not going to be able to get this trade done before training camp. It will be week 6 before they can get rid of him because they're going to want to keep him as insurance because Deshaun Watson's probably not playing the first 4 games of this season. I mean, who else do they have? What do they got? Jacoby Brissett? What did he do with the Colts? He was supposed to be like the savior after, Andrew Luck suddenly retired. What happened there, Rob? Tell us. What did Jacoby Brissett do? Absolutely.
Well, listen, Drew. It's rumored that the NFL is not going to punish Deshaun Watson. But, Drew, I have breaking news. Guess what the breaking news is? Baker Mayfield will be starring on Law & Order this fall. when it comes to not working as an NFL quarterback and sucking, here are their stories. Hey guys, hey guys, I was in Cleveland and I was the savior, but they hurt my feelings. I had commercials, and now I look like Marv from Home Alone.
Those commercials are going to be coming back to bite him. Like, he should not have been doing those because now look at him. Deshaun Watson set out for a whole entire year, was facing all these years potentially of sitting behind bars, gets a guaranteeing contract, and now those commercials mean nothing.
What does that say about you? What does that say about you that a guy coming off all his allegations, which he was not charged for, which he was cleared for, right? What does that say about a guy who comes off all those allegations and they give him a guaranteed contract and they tell you bye-bye? That says a lot about you. That says 2 things to me. Number 1, you need to get your life together, Baker. Number 2, you suck.
Round 4.
Teams will regret passing over Nakobe Dean in this year's NFL draft. Rob, are you in or out of this?
I'm so freaking in, I could jump through this screen. Hey, Drew, what round did he go in? 3rd round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, as I'm watching the draft, right, I'm in the 1st round. I'm in the 2nd round. Then I get to the 3rd round. I'm like, so you're telling me a guy like Nakobe Dean, 5'11", 225, smart, intelligent guy. I don't think people understand, Drew, that you have to be just an intellect to play that linebacker position. It's not like most other positions where you could just be like, a meathead and just, get on the line or whatever. No, like the quarterback, the center, and your linebacker, your Mike linebacker, they've got to make calls. They can make calls about if the offense is making adjustments, if they're going to the run game, if they're going to the pass game, if they're audibling here or there, etc. Nakobe Dean falling to the Philadelphia Eagles is just a joke. I mean, an embarrassment of riches. You get Davis in the 1st round, who is his running mate from Georgia. You get Carson Strong as an undrafted free agent, who I feel like will eventually surpass Jalen Hurts as a starting quarterback. You have, and most importantly, Nakobe Dean, man. This guy is London Fletcher personified. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I know that's a name a lot of you haven't heard in a while. Drew, I know you know that name. London Fletcher. This is just the GMs are gonna look back in about 5 to 10 years and say, damn, we messed up.
You know, Rob, with this, I'm
Get the fuck out of here!
You know why I'm out? Liar, liar, pants on fire. This guy slipped to the 3rd round because he lied. He could fess up for the fact that he had a pec muscle injury and that he was dealing with a leg injury.
No. You shut your mouth right there, Drew Willingham. You shut your damn mouth. Let me tell you something right now. I'm getting sick and tired of these. You know what? College football, and I hate to interrupt you, Drew, but you can't have it both ways, college football fans and administrators. You can't have it both ways. We complain because these college kids say we don't want to play in the bowl game because we might hurt ourselves. And you call them this and you call them that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? This man played through a pectoral injury the whole freaking year. He got his team to the national championship. A team that had not won a national championship since 1980. He was instrumental in them winning the national championship. And you guys want to penalize him for that? Bogus. Completely bogus.
He lied. He still lied. He lied. He lied.
Drew, I'm telling you right now. Drew,
I'm out.
Get the fuck out of here!
Sorry, I had to do it again. I'm out because you lied. All you gotta do is say, "Coach, I'm hurt. I gotta come out." Your pec is falling off. Your pec is falling off, Rob. You can just shove it up into your shoulder pads. You got to be real, Coach. Hey, man, I cannot play because you're sacrificing potentially not just millions of dollars, but your future in the game.
72 tackles and 6 sacks with a messed up pec.
I'd rather have you for a decade doing that than to get through one damn game. That's my point. Like if you can't say, "Coach, get me out of here. Let the next man up. Let's get this game." Like, because I got a torn pec, or at least let me go get checked out first. You get checked out on the sidelines. If they say torn, like, dude, you need to come out of the game. Then you come out of the game. But he didn't even get checked out, Rob.
So you know something, Drew? You know something? I don't want to hear from you from football purists anymore about old school football is dead. Because guess what? If you want to do things like this to a great player like Nakobe Dean, I don't want to hear anything else. I don't want to hear anything about the old school. And guess what? Yeah, we are soft now. You know why? Because, yes, you got pitchers going out there throwing 75 pitches, getting knocked out the game with no hitters coming. You got guys putting their career. This guy put his whole career on the line because he loves the game. But guess what?
Rob, you got to protect your investment, though. You have to. You got to protect your investment.
But you guys out there, I'm not saying you, Drew. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying you college fans, you overbearing sports media out there who's not as good as me and Drew are. You have to make up your mind. Which one do you want? Do you want these guys to play through injury? Do you want them to play through injury, or do you want them to sell the bowl game so they can make more money? Which one do you want?
My point is this. My point is this. I saw this firsthand yesterday, and I saw this firsthand yesterday. It wasn't football, but it was in a different sport. It was in baseball. Someone fell, got hurt, basically hurt shoulder, and was a pitcher, and continued to throw afterwards, potentially worse. If you would have came out of the game, maybe it might not have been as bad. In this case with the pec, if you would have came out, maybe you wouldn't be starting the year on a disabled list. He might have.
And I get that. But
when you buy a car, do you want to start over? Do you want to start over when you start it? From A to B. This guy can't get you right now.
Do they want a tough guy? Do they want an old school football player, or they want guys?
I want a smart player. I want a smart player who's going to tell me when he's hurt, so that way I can save him for the next decade.
Smart player? Have you checked the man's records? He's like one of the smartest players coming out of Georgia in a long time. This has nothing to do with this. He loves the game. And what I'm saying, you're talking about he lied. There are plenty of players who lie. There are plenty of players who go in these interviews and lie. Hey, have you ever smoked weed before? No, I haven't. You ever drank before? No, I'm a saint. No, here's the thing. He loves football. And here's the thing. And I'm going to leave it at this, Drew. And this is all I'm going to say. The Philadelphia Eagles got themselves a player. The Philadelphia Eagles got themselves somebody who was going to be there for a very long time. This pick of Nakobe Dean. The Dallas Cowboys had a chance to get him, but they passed over because they do Dallas Cowboys things. So did Washington. So did the Giants. But check this out. The Eagles are positioning themselves with physical players like this to be great. The Philadelphia Eagles are now the best team in the NFC East. And you Cowboys fans get mad at me, I don't care. They're the best team right now in the NFC East. Not only do you have Jalen Hurts, not only do you have the receivers, you have defense now. You have a defensive line that is menacing. You have a linebacker core that can be menacing and an improving secondary. So I don't want to hear all this other stuff. He lied. Guess what? Sometimes, just like Malik Willis, like I didn't want him in the first round, sometimes falling to the third or fourth round is great. Because guess what? You become the underdog. Just like we're about to talk about a topic in a second about underdogs. You are the underdog. And guess what? Now he can take out all his fury on everybody in the NFL. And Nakobe Dean will, mark my words, will be a Pro Bowl player. I have nothing else to say on this damn topic. If he doesn't get revenge, the Mexican people can look at him and say, Underlay. Uh-oh. That's not Spanish, but whatever. Go ahead.
Well, let's uh-oh to the next round.
Round 3.
You know, Brittney Griner's detainment in Russia is more of a political move than criminal. Rob, are you in or out with this topic?
Does a fat man like cake?
Oh, yes, he does.
I'm in, damn it. Yo, man. So look, right. Let me ask Drew. I know we're not. Let me bring it back on the screen. Let me ask you a question, Drew.
What's that?
What happens when you break the law?
Oh, you get detained, of course.
What happens when you take drugs into a foreign country?
Oh yeah, of course. You're going to get in trouble. You got to know the law.
Are you supposed to do it?
No.
Okay.
No,
let me ask you this: how many politicians? And keep the screen up. How many politicians you think watched the WNBA last year?
Not a lot.
Was the WNBA going on a Sunday with NFL weekend going on?
Yes.
So who the fuck was watching it? So let me say this, right? You all are out there talking about this and that, women this, women that. Y'all don't care about women's rights for real. Y'all don't care about getting these women more money for real, because if you did, she wouldn't be in Russia in the first place in the offseason. Could you imagine LeBron James being in Russia in the offseason playing basketball just so he can make more money? Yeah, her salary is what, $109,000 per season? It's going up to $220,000 this year. Her net worth is $5 million. However, to be a celebrity, you want to live a certain lifestyle. They deserve that. They work hard. These politicians don't care. Drew, let me ask you another question, my friend. When was the last time you saw a WNBA topic on NBA on ESPN First Take?
I don't actually recall one. Anytime soon. Anytime like the past 5 years.
When was the last time you saw them talking about on Skip and Shannon?
Never in my recollection.
Let me also ask you this, Drew. Remember that Sports Illustrated article thing that just came out?
Mm-hmm.
A little strange, isn't it? You think they're trying to appeal to a certain audience, make the WNBA a little sexier, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it wasn't about sex appeal, Drew. I thought it was about just play on the court.
The straight up basketball is what it was supposed to be about.
Yeah. Also, Drew, remember that movie Juwanna Mann?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm not going to go there, but trust and believe. The way this world is going, they're going to start having dudes in the WNBA going around dunking, because that's what it's all about, Drew. It's about people want to see dunks. They want to see excitement. People like us, and people may get offended by this, but I kind of really don't care, because a lot of you out there are a bunch of freaking hypocrites, right? And here's the other thing that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but I'm going to put you on blast too, right? we keep hearing about women's rights, this and that. Do you know there's a large segment of the population of women who hate watching women's basketball? Yeah, y'all don't want to talk about that, do you? Right? Nuh-uh, you don't want to talk about that. No. Because you all just want to sound. It's like that. It's like that lady who's the new. She's in charge of making sure there's not misinformation on the internet. Have you seen her TikToks? It makes me freaking cringe. Okay, just like this topic, it makes me cringe. The bottom line is this, ladies and gentlemen of America. Brittney Griner broke the freaking law. When you go to Russia, go to a foreign country with drugs, you can't do that. It's not the same laws here. And here's the thing, America's not perfect, but we are all figuring out that it ain't the worst place in the world. So the next time you complain about America, yes, we've had atrocities. And listen, we're still going through stuff today, folks. America ain't perfect, not one bit. It's still sexism, racism, and all that stuff. But trust and believe, there are some places on this planet that if you went there for 5 days, you realize it ain't that bad here. So yeah, it's all political. Y'all, some of you may have been offended by that, but guess what? I don't give a shit.
Well, with all of that said, my take is I'm out.
Get the f*** out of here!
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Got to know the laws where you're at. It might be different where you're at and where you're playing basketball at home, but when you're trying to do stuff overseas, you need to be cognizant of what's going on in different places. You know, and where she's at, Russia, they are very, very serious about substance abuse. They're very serious. They don't treat it like they do here in the U.S. If you can't go a week or a few weeks without it, then don't go. Stay here and do what you're supposed to do. You know, Rob stance is he's in. I'm out with the simple fact of you got to know what your surroundings are. If it's not legal there and you run a very big risk of taking a concentrated substance, it wasn't just weed, it was cartridges, it was vapes. That's like a different criminal offense. It's not just like herbs and spices in a bag in your pocket.
Hold on. Did I say I was out? I'm in. What am I talking about? I'm in.
You said you were in. I say I'm out. Because I think it's more of a criminal move than political. Yeah, probably the politics of everything. Probably the politics of everything going on. That probably has something to do with why they're taking it as serious as they are. But you know, you need to know what the circumstances are with what position you put yourself in.
Come on, Drew, you're missing the whole point here, buddy. I'm talking about how people listen. You know how look at me, Drew. And I can tell you, look at me. You gotta look at me. You gotta look at me. God damn it. And I know I'm cursing a lot today, but I really don't give a damn because I'm fired up. Do you know when I knew this was a political move? When they called Brittney Griner the Tom Brady of the WNBA, I said, shut the fuck up. And listen, Drew, kidding you. I'm not kidding you. You know what I did? I went back to 1991 where Kevin went, what are you people talking about? And I can see our president now coming to the stand. Well, Brittney Griner's where's her name again?
It's Brittney Griner. It's on the screen.
She is detained in Russia because of substance abuse. See, here in America, we have never done anything. We have never put people in jail because of marijuana. We've never had tough drug laws. I was never responsible. I'm Joe Biden. I've never been responsible for any drug laws, and I love Black people because, do I? Or wait a minute, did I put in a lot of racist laws? So, yeah, anyway, besides all that, I got you. And here's the thing, we're holding people accountable. See, people don't like that, Drew. People don't like me holding people accountable. We are holding Brittney Griner accountable. We're holding our politicians accountable because of their lies and their bullcrap. So if you don't like what I just said, good. I appreciate it.